shadows of the Airsoft playground. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it a chill that seemed to seep into the bones of anyone who dared to venture near the abandoned Airsoft playground. Once a bustling battleground for friends and foes alike, it now stood forgotten. A place where the echoes of laughter had been replaced by an eerie silence that seemed to hang heavy in the air. Years had passed since the last game was played there, but the memories of those days still lingered. The playground was nestled deep within the heart of the forest, far away from the prying eyes of the world. It was said that the trees themselves held the secrets of countless battles fought there, battles that had been lost to time. But there was one battle, one story that had never been forgotten. The legend spoke of a player named Lucas, a young man who had been obsessed with the thrill of the game. His passion for Airsoft was unrivaled, and he was known for his uncanny ability to outmaneuver and outshoot his opponents. But with that skill came arrogance, and his victories were often accompanied by taunts and jeers that left his opponents seething with resentment. One fateful day, a group of players gathered at the playground to challenge Lucas. They were tired of his cocky attitude and were determined to take him down a peg. The battle raged on for hours, the players ducking behind cover, the air filled with the rapid-fire bursts of plastic pellets. Lucas fought with a wild desperation, his laughter turning into manic screams as he refused to accept defeat. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the playground, the final showdown began. Lucas found himself cornered, his ammunition dwindling, his options limited. With a fierce determination, he charged forward, his fingers squeezing the trigger of his Airsoft gun. But his opponents were ready, and a volley of shots struck him simultaneously. He fell to the ground, defeated, humiliated and broken. Lucas staggered to his feet, his eyes burning with rage. But before he could react, a strange darkness enveloped him. The shadows seemed to come alive, wrapping around him like a suffocating shroud. The other players watched in horror as Lucas was consumed by the very shadows he had cast upon them. From that day on, the playground was said to be haunted. Players who dared to venture there spoke of strange occurrences, whispers in the wind that sounded like laughter, glimpses of movement just at the edge of their vision, and the unshakable feeling of being watched. Some claimed to have seen a figure lurking among the trees, a figure with wild eyes and a twisted smile. As the years went by, the legend of Lucas grew. It was said that his spirit still roamed the playground, forever trapped between the world of the living and the realm of the shadows. He sought vengeance against those who had defeated him, his rage driving him to haunt anyone who dared to play on his battleground. One evening, a group of friends decided to put the legend to the test. Armed with airsoft guns and a healthy dose of skepticism, they ventured into the heart of the forest. Laughter and banter filled the air as they began their game, unaware of the darkness that watched from the shadows. As the game progressed, the atmosphere grew tense. Strange sounds seemed to echo all around them. The rustling of leaves, the snapping of twigs, and faint whispers carried by the wind. Nervous glances were exchanged, but the friends brushed off their unease, chalking it up to overactive imaginations. But then, as they took cover behind a decaying structure. One of them caught a glimpse of movement out of the corner of their eye. A figure, fleeting and indistinct, darted between the trees. Panic spread like wildfire, and the friends scrambled to regroup. Their laughter had turned to anxious whispers as they realized that something was terribly wrong. With each passing moment, the shadows seemed to grow darker, more oppressive. The air grew cold, and a sense of dread hung heavily over the playground. The friends realized they were no longer alone. The presence of Lucas was palpable, his anger seeping into every corner of their consciousness. As they huddled together, the wind picked up, carrying with it a bone-chilling laughter that seemed to come from all directions at once. The trees themselves seemed to sway in time with the sinister sound, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. And then, from within the darkness, emerged a figure. Wild eyes gleamed in the moonlight, and a twisted smile played across his lips. It was Lucas, or what remained of him. He moved with an unnatural grace, his form shifting and contorting as if he were made of shadows. The friends raised their airsoft guns, their trembling hands, a stark contrast to the determination in their eyes. But their shots seemed to pass through Lucas without effect. As if he were nothing more than an illusion, he advanced relentlessly, his laughter growing louder with each step. Panic took hold, and the friends turned to flee, but the shadows seemed to converge, trapping them within the playground. As the wind howled and the darkness closed in, the friends' screams joined the chorus of haunting laughter. The legend of Lucas had come to life, and the playground had become his eternal battleground. No one would ever hear their laughter again, only the whispers of their terror carried by the wind. And so, the abandoned Airsoft playground remained. A place where the boundaries between the living and the dead were blurred. A place where the shadows held dominion and the echoes of a tragic tale lingered for eternity.